In Take Your Pills, filmmaker Alison Klayman wishes to illustrate the widespread use of drugs in today's society and how these drugs affect our daily lives using the example of Adderall as a touchstone. Through the documentary, Klayman argues that Adderall, Ritalin, and other prescription stimulants do not offer the miraculous benefits they are advertised to, but merely offer short-term increase in focus with long-term health risks.
Klayman uses the first 2.5 minutes of the documentary in order to introduce the effects of Adderall to the audience.
I take it right when I wake up. I keep it next to my toothbrush so I remember to take it. It takes about 40 minutes to kick in, and you can feel it. I start to sweat. My heart accelerates very rapidly.
Here, we see a woman taking Adderall as she explains the effects of the drug on her body. To highlight these effects, there are close-ups on her face to visually illustrate the effects of the drug on the body.
These are the vibes. They get you through the day a little faster. But it's Monday. Sometimes you take 10.
Here shows us 2 more people taking Adderall as a man happily discusses the consumption of Adderall. This creates the illusion that many people take Adderall and that they are happy to consume it. The sound of the pill bottle is especially emphasized throughout this scene to bring attention to the drug.
From there, this kind of wave of happiness hit me. It was kind of like a warm glow.
Klayman places many colorful animations illustrating the effects of Adderall on the body once more. On top of this, the colorful, fast-paced animation style serves to overwhelm the audience, perhaps mimicking a brain on drugs. The sound effects also serve this purpose, as they are mildly unpleasant and make the audience anxious.
All of a sudden I could pay attention, and my handwriting got neater. I thought that was so cool.
My mind came alive, my body felt alive.
When it works like a bang.
Once again, Klayman uses personal accounts to illustrate the effects of Adderall. In this portion, a girl and a man testify how much better they feel when on Adderall. During this time, Klayman chooses to speed up portions of video or edit them in order to look like a video game. This may either further irritate or overwhelm the audience, or may convince them that life on Adderall is like a video game.
Suddenly, you are in a room with 10,000 doors, and behind a bunch of the doors is some cool stuff. You are going to want to try and run as fast as possible and stay awake as long as possible to look in all the doors.
During this portion of the scene, Klayman places one colorful, surreal animation after another in order to imitate the stereotypical view of the drug experience. In addition, a character of a happy little pill is introduced. By characterizing Adderall as a happy little pill, Klayman hopes to convince the audience that consuming Adderall will create a sense of euphoria.
What specifically did Adderall do for you when you were playing the game?
Laser-like focus, reaction time increased, alert.
The first week that I took it, I was like, I like this. This is good.
Klayman uses a mix of personal accounts, colored animations, and sped-up video in order to drive home the effects of Adderall. While the personal accounts appeal to ethos, as many people recount similar experiences under the influence of Adderall, the colorful animations and sped-up video once again imitate the experience a person may have while on drugs.
Adderall, warning, side effects may include being awesome at everything.
In the mix, a man states that a side effect of Adderall may be being awesome at everything. While side effects are generally considered negative effects of a prescription medication, the man states a positive effect as a side effect. This emphasizes his point that Adderall is completely beneficial because if a side effect is a positive effect, then that must mean the drug has no negative effects.
It's like the New York Stock Exchange ticker. That's what my mind looks like all the time. And when I take Adderall, it's like the ticker slows down.
I can zone in on something and completely ignore everything.
The Klayman does not continue on to argue that Adderall is completely beneficial. This scene serves to introduce the audience to stereotypes about drugs and Adderall in general. She later chooses to knock down these beliefs one by one in the rest of the documentary. Overall, this scene introduces the audience to the idea that the use of Adderall is widespread by users who do not know of its negative effects.
But you also find a bit of an arms race building up, where if enough people see that their competition is doing it, they feel like they kind of have to do it too.
She also starts to reflect on the competitive and stressful nature of the world we live in today, and she soon realizes that there's beauty and pain in life, and that drugs will only warp the reality.
I think focusing on the use or abuse, depending on how people feel about this, is symptomatic of something broader.
In addition, this serves to relax the audience and adds to the serious and pensive tone of this scene, creating a serious and pensive tone. Not get too absorbed in our lives that we forget to seriously consider the filmmaker's arguments of it. Also, as opposed to the overwhelming, colorful, fast-paced imagery of the opening scene and the beginning of Dr. Brown's discussion, this scene transitions into a calm and peaceful image of nature.
This highly competitive environment in which people feel compelled to compete beyond their possibilities to get ahead. This kind of focus on material progress and productivity, what's the cost of that? And is that a cost we're willing to live with?
During this portion of the documentary, Dr. Brown uses rhetorical questions, which prompts the audience to reflect on their own opinions on Adderall and seriously consider Clayman's position. These rhetorical questions also suggest that the negative effects of prescription stimulants outweigh their positive effects. She also starts to reflect on the competitive and stressful nature of the world we live in today, and she soon realizes that there's beauty and pain in life, and that drugs will only warp the reality.
I wouldn't say that I'm happy to have Adderall, but I'm happy that Adderall is an option for him.
After not being on it all the time, I feel more comfortable with who I am, like with my body and stuff. I would never put my kid on Adderall, ever, because I know what it does to you, and like, it's not fun being on it. I feel like it was too easy to put a kid on something close to meth and not question it. There's other things you could do, just teach him how to focus.
In this ending scene, Clayman revisits the story of people who have used Adderall and their personal views on it. Jasper specifically states that he feels more comfortable not using Adderall and would not ever give it to his child. This establishes ethos in the sense that a person who has been diagnosed with ADHD states that Adderall was not the miracle drug he was told it would be. In addition, he has personally experienced the effects of Adderall, which appeals to logic. Overall, this scene advocates for people to stop depending on Adderall and seriously consider both the positive and negative effects of a drug before using it. By contrasting the negative effects of Adderall in the second scene with the positive accounts of Adderall in the first scene, Clayman illustrates that the benefits of Adderall are simply an illusion and that one must consider thoroughly before consuming it. Other drugs, such as Ritalin, follow the same pattern as Adderall, as she shows they do not guarantee the miraculous benefits they advertise.